Hi, my name is the Sustainable Doula Abby, and I am a birth and postpartum doula on my certification journey through Doula International. I am in support of all on their birth and postpartum journeys. Part of why my name, the Sustainable Doula Abby, is sustainability. Sustainability is defined in so many ways by so many different people. For me, it could be sustainable budget, it could be sustainable product, it could be circular economy. So a circular economy is essentially keeping things in rotation, keeping things in the system and out of landfill. How I got into sustainability is sometimes I get a little bit confused of how I got into sustainability. I think I was originally looking for natural ways to treat my seborrheic dermatitis, and I found Holistic Habits and her scalp treatments that she was doing with apple cider vinegar and herbs. That led me, watching a bunch of her videos led me to Sarah Therese on YouTube, and because of all of the birth content that I was consuming at the same time frame and sustainable content that was starting to come up, and minimalism and things like that was starting to come up, as you can see, I don't have a set number. I don't think I can ever be considered a minimalist. I do try to take on some ideas and concepts. That was also around the time frame of the life-changing magic of tidying up that took the world by storm. Yeah, I think it was my hair, which led me towards sustainability. At the time was in New York City, and I started consuming content, just so much content. I started switching products, and I was messing up and trying to get rid of things and replace things, and I'm like, no, oh my gosh, why am I getting rid of things I already own to try and replace them with new things? That's not budget sustainable. I already owned it. That's not environmentally sustainable. I already owned it. If I'm getting rid of it, somebody else is probably throwing it away, or I think even I was throwing it away, and it was a mess. I was doing things wrong. I still do things wrong. But again, it's defined so differently by so many people. But with sustainability, pursuing that, with environmental activism, it ate my soul. It built my soul, and it ate my soul. It was a mental struggle. But with pursuing sustainability, with pursuing being a doula, I began to know what and who I was and what my purpose was. And my mental clarity started happening. I became more at peace with myself, and I still have a long way to go. All of those things and pieces really helped. I was mentioning that while I was in New York City, I started going to sustainability panels. I went to zero waste panels. I went to sustainable fashion panels. I volunteered with Fab Scrap, which is a fabric recycling, fabric and textiles recycling business. So if there were a larger amount or good materials that were rescued from the fashion industry and textile industry of New York City, they were sold. If they were smaller little scraps here and there, were piled and organized and whatnot into bags that would go to be shredded, and those shredded fabric scraps were turned into shoddy. Shoddy, it can become pillow stuffing, blanket stuffing, it Also, more importantly and more impactful, became insulation for low-income households. The bags and bags and bags that they had. As a volunteer, you go through these bags and you just sort. Sometimes you get full pieces of clothing, which were sample clothes, but the bags and bags and bags and bags and bags were piled to this warehouse facility ceiling. It was crazy. And they have since expanded and gotten a second warehouse with more bags. It's crazy. But the volunteers, they come in and they help sort and organize buttons, zippers, fabric, sample clothing, panels of clothing. So it could be like a half sleeve or half a pair of pants or something. All kinds of different things. With that, your payment is that you could take home up to 5 pounds of materials if you wanted. I was able to grab some fabrics that I may be utilizing in my upcoming wedding, and we're currently in 2021. The pandemic is still happening, so who knows when the wedding is going to be happening. Started doing that, I started getting involved with the composting programs. I became involved with some local freegans. Freegans are trash divers, and these particular people were corporate divers. For example, you have Anna Sachs from the At the Trash Walker. I think it's At the Trash Walker NYC on Instagram. Yeah, I also became friends with at trash.pandas and at trash.pandas.nyc on Instagram. They go through and create spreadsheets of the corporate waste, mainly targeting places like CVS, PetSmart, Petco, etc., etc., etc. The list goes on. I believe Anna Sachs is a employed member of Think Zero LLC, if I am correct. Anyway, I started getting involved with my community and with speakers and such. With the pandemic in 2020, shortly into the pandemic, they shut down all composting in the area. So there was, it was a mess. There had been all this progress made towards composting, and there were, on particular, I think every weekend, at the very least, especially at any of the farmers markets that were popping up throughout the city, there would be a city collection for composting, and they shut it down. Not the farmers markets, but the composting. It was very frustrating because the amount of waste that I don't even know the numbers. Anyway, I took part in town halls that were involved in the city composting and what they were going to be doing. And with all of those efforts and the petitions that were signed and the meetings that were held, mainly by Anna Sachs, eventually they did bring back composting. At this moment, they are again trying to get rid of composting. It went from a composting program at that time of 8 million to being 0, to finally getting an approved budget back for 2 million. So it was, 2 million is a lot of money, but obviously 8 million and needing to expand and increase the budget to 2 million is is also an impact. But yeah, that was some of the things that I got involved in, and I started making my own products, and I started thinking about what I was doing and considering how I was recycling. I got in connection with Nerd DNA, Hifastra. I found a sustainable laundromat. It's called Celsius. Well, I found a zero waste grocery store called Recycle. Those are all like kind of how I got into sustainability. It was mainly through YouTube. Another person that I do follow in sustainability, there's other people like Plant a Whisper, Green Girl Leia, Queer Brown Vegan, Shell Bizzle on YouTube. So so many with being a doula. For me, sustainability and doula go hand in hand. They've always gone hand in hand. It's been that way. And it's not just about advocacy. Sustainability and being a doula is decolonizing. It's being more indigenous, and a lot of people that I follow are, not all, but there are some people that I follow that are within the queer community, which are indigenous women. I've done some classes on anti-racism and support within queer and indigenous communities, queer and Black and brown and indigenous communities. I have such a long way to go. Some of the people that I follow, I mean, heck, you can just look at my follow list. Partera Midwifery, Antama Shop, Macheries Midwife, Mujer del Tierra. There's so many. Indigimama. There's just so many. And I've learned so much. I'm learning so much, and I hope to continue to do so. Yeah, it just makes me emotional talking about it and learning. I hope you enjoyed. Oh, look, tears. Where'd you come from? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and kind of a little bit of how I got into sustainability. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you wanted to get in contact with me, of course, there's here on YouTube. You can also follow me on The Sustainable Doula on Instagram. And for any professional and client services, please reach out to me through sustainabledoula@gmail.com. And I'll see you next time. Bye.